Alright, so in this video I'm going to continue on with more examples for let, const, and var, and just give you an opportunity to try these things on your own. Each time I make an example, feel free to pause the video before I go into the answer, and I'll give you enough time to be able to pause, stop, and then think, and then be able to come back into the example itself. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to close the node environment by just pressing Ctrl D once more, and then that will allow us to use variables we've already declared before, because this will give us a fresh new environment, a fresh new scope. And I'll talk about scope in a second. So I'll type out node and I'll press enter on my command line, and then you'll see the handy welcome screen again once more. And so the first thing I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to create a variable called x, and I'm going to give it the value hello. And you'll notice that this time, instead of a number, I'm surrounding my word essentially here, the sentence, or like this word, I guess, with two quotes, right? So double quotes on the keyword and on the keyboard. And so anytime you see single quote or two quotes or a back tick followed by another back tick, or something of the similar. So if I start one with a single quote and I end it with a single quote, or if I end it with a double quote and I start it with a double quote, or if I start it with a backtick and I end it with a backtick, then essentially that would be a string in JavaScript, and I can put as many characters as I want there. And there are different cases, and we'll go over that in a bit. But essentially, just remember that this is a string, right? And this allows me to not just save numbers, but also to save, content if I need to, right? Now, in the real world, in the web, we save a lot of content, so this is how you can do that. So I have x now equal to hello, and remember this is of type let, or keyword let. So that means we're going to be somewhat strict. We can't redeclare x, but we can set its value. We can change its value. All right, so I'm going to create a simple if statement this time, and I'm going to say if x is double equal to hello. Right. So let's just stop there for a second, especially for the newbies. You might notice that this is a double equal versus a single equal. When we have a single equal, it's just essentially assigning a value. But for double equal, we actually mean that we want to look at the value inside x and want to compare it to the value that we put on the right here. So is x equal to this string hello? That's essentially what the double equal means. And there's also a triple equal, and we'll go over that as well in a different video. But essentially, you want to know that there's one equal sign just basically means assign, whereas two equals or three equals means compare. So that's what we're doing here. We're comparing. So I'm going to have a bracket for my if statement, and then I'm going to be inside my if statement. That's what these three dots here mean in node. And so now I'm inside the if block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another variable called y, and I'm just going to say space world. And then I'm going to press enter once more, and I'm still inside my if statement. So to get out, I'll just use a bracket and I'll press enter. So now that gets me out of my bracket, and I'm going to say, well, console.log x plus y. You'll notice now I got an error. So pause the video for a second if you're not sure why I'm getting this error, and think about it. Why do you think I'm getting this error? Okay, so now that you've paused the video and you've had a chance to think about it, maybe you know the answer already. For those of you who don't know the answer, let's go over why this doesn't work. So the reason that this doesn't work is y is inside the if block now. And so in JavaScript with ES6, anytime we create variables inside of an if statement, the variables get trapped in there, and anytime we finish the if statement, or a for statement or a function statement, all the variables that get stored inside this whole thing basically disappear once the if statement itself has completed. So that means these variables are trapped to the scope of the if block. X doesn't get deleted or destroyed until we actually close node, right? Every time like I'm doing these videos, I'm saying Control C or Control D to quit node and then start the environment all over again. In that case, basically I'm killing off the X variable as well. So scope kind of works kind of like almost like a pyramid, right? So this is available at the top, and then this is available only here, And I can access stuff from, outside, but I can't access anything that's inside from outside, right? So you have to kind of like work with it. You can work with it, stuff that's from the outside, but you can't work with stuff that's inside unless, you bring your value into this block as well. And we'll go over scope a lot more later. I just think for now, let's understand like the basics. So if I want to make this work, I could rewrite my statement and I could say if x is equal to hello, and I just do a bracket again, and then I say let y equal to world, right? I can now do console log x plus y, and then I can just enter my bracket to finish this if statement, and I will get the hello world because y is still available and I can access x from outside in this overall scope. And so this is legal, this is valuable. So I can say hello world. It's just that if I close the if statement and then try to do console log x plus y, I'm going to run into an error.